All right. All right. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Bison, aka Bison Trades, over on Twitter. Welcome back to another episode of RareFUD Radio. On today's episode, just gonna be talking market, talking shop. It's just a solo show between myself, Door, Joe's getting here at some point. Got caught up in some Web 2 stuff, so he'll make an appearance, I'm sure. I am hopeful. We'll go with that. But we'll talk about monkeys. Got Gen 3 now here. You can break open your barrel. You can reveal your Gen 3. Got some thoughts on it. Definitely got some thoughts on it. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about what's happening over on Ordinals. We'll be talking about what's happening in the upcoming months for Solana and just kind of breaking down everything for you guys. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Let's bring on my brother in content, my wonderful co-host, Mr. Door. How we living, bro?
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Every day's a holiday. Back for another one, dog. Always get excited to come on the show, talk to you, talk to Joe whenever he decides to come on, surprisingly, and just hang out with the audience, man. It's always a good time.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I guess Easy wants to join, which Easy kind of gets a pass.
Yes.
And
he can come on all day.
Fine, Easy. Well, you know what? We'll make an exception for you.
Yep.
Just shoot you the restream link. There we go.
Come on up, Easy.
Sounds good. Well, before we do that, and once Easy joins, which I sent you a DM, Easy, but first off, thank you guys so much for showing up. I mean, look, the market's down bad. We are not. We are still going to survive and thrive and get into all the alpha, talk about what's going on the show. If Easy joins, we'll talk a little bit about Bodogos as well. But until then, we got a market overview for everybody. So looking over over at Soul Sniper. We're gonna start with Sniper from now on, and just talk about what's going on in the market. I think they have a little bit more accurate depiction of what's going on in the market, but 4,423 buyers is actually pretty good, just given recent historical data, and 6,872 sellers. That's actually really good. There's a whole lot less sellers than what we had before. I mean, we were talking about 10,000 sellers plus.
Yeah, dog.
So I mean, if we're dipping down below 7K, that's always good. I see my man eating in the lobby. I'm gonna let him finish
up
his bite over here first before we let him in. But no, had to fix his mic. What's up?
It was getting screw loose. It was getting screw loose. I couldn't. All of a sudden, I was like, "Shit, this might fall off."
Bro, I thought you were like taking a bite of a honey bun over there. I was like, I'm not letting my man
this
up.
fucking thing is like about to pop off. I'm slacking.
What's going on, bro?
What's up, dog?
Dude, it's good. It's busy. But I was like, I got 30 minutes here, and I tune in every time I can when I'm not on a call. So
we appreciate it.
Well, thanks for tuning in and coming up, dog.
Oh, dude, have to. It's been chaotic. I still keep tabs on the market. I don't have nearly enough time to trade, but it's been.
Yep.
Yeah, welcome to the life,
yeah,
bro.
I'm working on a project, dog.
Yeah, it's never fun, but that's why we do it. Is because on Tuesday, Thursday, we can always carve out at least an hour to kind of go over the market. It's more so for us at this point than anybody else, but it allows us to stay in tune. So, just going back into the market overview, we actually do have more buyers than we usually do, sitting at about 4,500 and less sellers, which is, I think, a key point a lot of people miss. We're looking at less than 7,000 sellers, which is always good. We've been sitting at at least a 2-to-1 ratio for buyers to seller or sellers to buyers over the past month, 2 months, 3 months almost. And it looks like liquidity is kind of dwindling on the listing side, which is good. It means it's going to be thinner to get up to some of these key levels for a lot of these NFT projects. That might signal a turn. And I know we've been looking at buyers a lot lately. That's always good to see. Looking over at TXO for the total volume, we're looking at about 60,000 Solana volume. Tensor sitting at 45% market share. Magic Eden sitting at 42% market share. Hades Swap back at 10%. Still haven't cracked that 10K threshold. No, but they haven't hit that 10K threshold.
Okay, never mind.
Solana, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on over at Hades Swap. Maybe because they're focusing on Ordinals. I don't know. Exchange art down bad, dude. The 101 scene. Well, we can get into that.
Dude, it's rough over there, dog.
We can definitely get into that. Guys, what's your thought on the market? And Easy, I appreciate you jumping in for Joe. I know he's got some Web 2 stuff, but we'll go with Door first and then Easy. What are we thinking here?
Yeah, man. Right now, the NFT environment's a little bit unstable with Sol pumping or whatnot. We know anytime there's volatility in the price of Sol, the NFTs are going to start tanking, man. I think it's better to wait right now until Sol kind of stables out and starts to range again before you begin to ape into anything. A lot of people are calling for Sol to rip back up to that $27, $30 range. Look, don't threaten me with a good time. I'll take a $30 Sol again all day, especially after picking it up at the bottom. So I'm not complaining about that, but I'm just waiting until things kind of calm out before I re-enter a lot of my NFT positions.
Absolutely. Easy. What are we feeling about the NFT market overall? Hey, the nice thing is, all of us are involved with projects up on the stage. So talk to me from a trader perspective. I know you don't have a lot of time for trading right now. And then
I still want them. It's I just haven't been deploying capital as much. If anything, I'm just buying dogs and just comfortable, backing myself with belief.
Yep.
So I still have 23 chimps or something like that. Something stupid. I haven't even had time to look at them, bro. They're just sitting in the bank.
Hopefully the Federal Reserve and that resting dog.
I never sent them to the Fed. I'm so a weak-handed individual.
Oh no.
Missing out, bro.
I'm such a weak-handed individual with that. It's I just refuse to send them there because I'm I don't know. But I'm 32 days right now in the bank or something stupid like that. Just because, dude, I just forget it's there and I'm oh, I'll go look. And I'm just loving the game, obviously. But market-wise right now, it's Sol breaking above 22 opens up a possibility to 24.5, 24.6 area. And that's my bigger concern from project wise, because we're seeing a lot of push down. USD value is something that I think a lot of people obviously get upset about when it comes to projects, and looking at it, they feel like they've lost value. When in actuality, it's basically staying stagnant. It's as if you were holding stable coins. which is always an interesting dynamic. And it's something that, like, coming from the other side of the coin, I start to look at a lot more, because I think that's like a better barometer of like where someone spent USD versus that. And of course, like, upside in any market is a big differentiator. And right now it is kind of looking at stuff, and like, it's been so interesting to be on the other side of this, because now it makes a lot more sense on like strategically rolling stuff out, especially in times where crypto's pumping, because people want like immediate gratification for sure. And as a holder right now, you're way more inclined to just go recognize SOL, which it makes total sense, you know? And like, a lot of people are speculating much more upside there. We're seeing a lot of like previously anti-Solana people now bullish on SOL again. And that's something that I think is really, really fascinating to watch. SOL DeFi is actually ramping user base wise, and it's where we're seeing a lot of net new wallets start to pop up. Also, with a lot of these airdrop farms from a bunch of DeFi platforms that are rolling out, I think we're going to continue to see that trend. And TLV for Solana is ramping here as well. So if you look at those are kind of the metrics I always keep an eye on, because like that's the macro condition when you look at it. And honestly, I think crypto in general right now it's squeezing on like the weekly. I'm a big Bollinger Band guy. Shout out Kicks. If you ever listen to him, he loves the Bollinger Bands. And we're in this like really tight squeeze right now on the weekly. And even like more specifically, 4-hour chart looks crazy, but the dollar is declining so hard right here. Like if you look at the dollar chart, I have a video, I think last month, where I like lined up my dollar metrics. I said under 1, like under 100 on the USD DXY, that thing's dropping to like 87. Like the dollar's going to get absolutely slaughtered, which sets up for a really strong case for crypto. And then of course, potentially rate cuts, etc., which is going to have to try to strengthen the dollar. It'll be a really interesting dynamic, or you're gonna have to incentivize spending is probably a better way to put that than strengthening the dollar. But it's always really interesting to see people's thoughts on that. And I think right now we're just in this market where NFTs will be stagnant until crypto takes like a choppy market. Because right now we're seeing a lot of upside. I mean, dude, SOL's up $7, $8, like a 50% move in a week. Like you can't be that shocked that a lot of the liquidity is going to liquid SOL, where people are confident we're going to start to see 24 to 26 range.
Well said, dog. Like I'm not a huge macroeconomic guy, just because like I didn't go to school for that. So I understand JPEGs, and I understand when volatility happens, my JPEGs go down. But in terms of the dollar, man, it's like I feel that stuff here in Mexico, dog. The peso against the dollar is absolutely ripping, dude. I'm like, yo, America, you need to get your stuff together,
it's all
dog.
about the Singaporean dollar, baby. That's my heavy bet. I got a gross amount of the net worth in the SGD. I get cooked for it all the time. But to me, it's like least diluted currency, baby. That's where I'm standing strong.
I mean, look, fundamentally speaking, I know you talked about it forever on your show. Easy. Just talking about the Singaporean dollar as a hedge against most of the global currencies that we're seeing in the world. A lot of people get, a lot of attention paid to the BRICS right now, but the Singaporean dollar was actually a really good call, and I love the thought process behind it. So shouts out to you for calling that, because it's doing really well. But in the meantime, I couldn't agree more, and I think that we'll eventually find, of course, SOL ripped up and everybody's chasing liquidity over here. I think this is a really good time, because I'm actually looking at, and again, if you're not using Soul Sniper, it is one of my favorite tools for free to use. One of my favorite features that a lot of people are overseeing, and we talked about it on the episode with Max, is actually going over to USD and charting against USD. There is a few charts on here, one in particular, and I hate it. I hate it so much, but I took a look at it and I was like, God, I'm going to have to talk about this on the show. The OK Bears chart. I actually like it a lot.
Looks great in USD terms, baby.
That's what I'm saying is USD, SOL both look great right here, and this thing will not go away. As much as like I sat there, I got tagged in a post at Founder Life, right? Is like, what would you rather buy? It was Gen 3 monkeys, Play the Heist, or Bears. Bears came out in fourth, dude. I'm telling you, if you can cultivate a community like that, and then I look at the chart and I'm like, the chart looks good too, bro. I don't like community. They have 4,690 holders for a 10K collection. That is insane distribution right now, because what we've seen is a lot of people just capitulate their bags, right, and go into these holders where it's just very concentrated. That is almost a 50% unique holder count to total supply size. That is an insane ratio. To me, it's one of those things I was planning on talking about later, but it's just one of those charts. And you can find multiple like it where I think NFTs kind of feel like they've kind of bottomed out. Of course, it depends on the underlying asset volatility.
We're in a boredom phase. That's the hardest part. You need to incentivize people right now to do some level of action. Like, this is the opportunity and the opportune time to, like, what the Bears do really well. And what I'm like, dude, I've spent a lot of time looking into their badge system because I'm fascinated by it. Like, that is something that, like, not to leak a little bit alpha, but something that I think you can gamify even more. And something I've really gotten a lot of inspiration from. Obviously, like, coming from a trader's mindset, you look at ways to incentivize the community to move liquidity and feel comfortable getting in and out of your own ecosystem's assets. And what that does is you can reward them for doing so. And that's something that I'm really excited about, and watch, like, their badges and that GM streak that they have, sleep streak, they call it, is really cool for social engagement because you see them on the timeline all the time. So I think that's really helped them. The other thing that I think is, like, a lot of people overlook is, like, this project has done so well for so long, fighting the FUD and maintaining this floor price where, like, they almost ignore the when's and just like, we'll ship when we ship. And if you believe in the vision, come rock on the journey with us and we'll figure it out. And, like, the team's very competent, which is great. Like, I had a very long conversation with Kyson at NFT NYC, just like talking to him. And he was like asking me if I was excited for it because he knows about the dogs. And we just, like, sat down, and, like, hearing his vision was really interesting to hear because it's, like, a totally different and unique approach to some stuff. So I'm, like, really excited for what they're doing. And that hoodie video was so funny, dude.
Dude,
like,
I cracked up.
Funny.
I was dying laugh. That's what got me looking at it, because I looked at the video. First off, they ragged on themselves talking about the wristband, which I thought was hilarious. They got really good. Like, we talk about, is content utility. I know Easy thinks so. It's a big bet with the Bodaggos.
Yeah,
and everything.
those
like
videos
that.
were sick, Easy. I'm just going to throw that out there, man.
Yeah,
I was so invested in the story. I'm like, oh, man, what's going to happen
The
next?
funniest part is, like, that, like, a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, you've been doing this for a year. Like, what do you have to roll out? And we realized, like, if anything, that hype cycle is you can generate it out of thin air. Like, a lot of people basically wrote us off till we started playing those. And then immediately we're like, oh shit, these guys have something. And, like, those comics are going to continue to roll through. Like, we have a full in-house animation and art team that I'm excited about. And, like, that lets us, like, iterate on those things. But I do think, like, the OK Bears had such a good funnel because, dude, I think that thing did over, like, 800,000 views or something stupid like that. It was crazy. And, like, I think of content as a funnel. And, like, you're seeing Mad Lads go that same route with Jakey, which I'm such a fan of. And I, like, when you look at, and dude, even the heist, like, you guys have so much user generated content. And then obviously Door with you and Shake just coming from the YouTube side of things. And, like, dude, Cyber Sam Discord at Market Open is the most electric place in the world. Like, and that's content. It's like, that is a content in a form in itself. And you have other people start talking about that content and it funnels down. Because now, what, like, as the market runs, I don't think we see new all-time highs till crypto starts making, like, higher highs. Because the way people look at crypto and NFTs is, like, a really interesting dynamic where if crypto's maintaining this, like, lower price action, they don't view NFTs as, like, anything other than, like, a liquidity drain until crypto blows up and goes, like, blow off top. And then they look at NFTs as, like, this leverage bet on the crypto side. Which, because it obviously can move much quicker, less numbers. It's basically like buying an altcoin with a picture attached that has a fixed 10,000 supply, which is like, when you really break it down to the core of an NFT, that liquidity is so much different and a smaller amount can really send it. So it's like content helps people start to see those, become curious, and then want to get involved. And as crypto rolls and runs higher, that same type of attraction kind of funnels down, where you get people interested in crypto all the way down into interested in a project.
Yeah, that was well said, Doug. And that's been a new thing people are starting to look at, is, like, content as utility. I know they were talking about that on RareFUD earlier today, and I was like, oh, that is a good point. And when you bring up Mad Lads with Jakey and how he brings, and I think because of the type of content that he produces, he reaches a wider audience than just the NFT side of things, and that does act as a funnel, because if they see Jakey, it's like, oh, he's part of this Mad Lads thing, what is that? Then people are more likely to get into that, either to gain access to him or other individuals within that community.
Yeah, 100%. I think at the very least, first off, every project should have some form of content. Like you said, it's different than just video. We always think of content, we akin it to video, but sometimes it is just jumping on voice chat. I mean, it's how Tayo was sustained for so long, because that voice chat was just straight alpha, right? And then you look at Cyber Samurai, we got our voice chat, our Discord, our many Twitter groups, which drive me nuts, but I love them. Dialect and everything like that. It's communication through content of some way, shape, or form is always important. And then with Heist, we made it easy for everybody just because you can play a game, right? And so people can always record themselves, shout out Jakey, not just with Mad Lads, but even before he was with Mad Lads, he was making the How I Became Cracked at Heist or whatever. And he would just, every time he decided he wanted to pull, he's like, I'm filming it. And he's now akin to a lot of our community's following, and it's good for him. It's good for us. We don't have to generate a bunch of content. And I think that's just a beautiful way to go about it. So yeah, I mean, content is definitely, especially in a bear market, dude, at the very least, it strings people along. So they're not asking when, but they're at least entertained until you actually get out whatever your product is. And if it is more content, if it is a game, but if it is NFT fi or anything, that's good. It gives you breathing space, which sometimes, dude, it weighs on your mental whenever people are asking.
Easy. I'm not envious of you, dog. Like all of us here, once again, we all work on a project. So as soon as you launch and the price started going down, I'm like, nothing's fundamentally changed, dog. I'm like, easy's going to cook. And I had to sell off some Bodoggos. I'm still bullish as hell on you, and I'm going to buy back in. Like I'm pretty transparent with it, but it's just like, it's like, why I fundamentally picked up Bodoggos did not change. It's like, the market. I know you're not going to launch something in an environment that's not going to have maximum impact, but then you have the Solana ecosystem who's like, oh, I need something now. But that just translates to make my price go off so I can sell real quick, so I'm not at a loss.
But it's also like a timing thing that I found really interesting is like, we all talk the market like heavy, and like especially the macro conditions. And right now it's like, if you drop the highest impact thing that's going to send the floor and get people really excited and Solana pumps, that cause and effect isn't going to translate as well as if you're in a stagnant market.
Yes,
and like,
dog.
if you start to see volume coming in and net new wallets continuing to trend, like at the same time, like there's so many people here that like they can write you off. They can do all those things. Like, who cares? Like, that's kind of the mentality I have, is like, the people who are so excited about this and more excited than I am are the ones that I want to continue to reward and provide different iterations of things over time that can help like make sure this goes as intended and beat expectations. But at the same time, like, what value is there to roll something out immediately, show your whole hand, and then immediately get cornered into now what's the next thing, versus slow roll stuff, deliver, iterate on top of that slow roll over time, and really involve the community and quote that like building process. And it's also like, it lets you continue to pivot and figure out like, what do they like, what don't they like, and do we continue to devote resources to this or figure out something better to continue to gain that traction. And right now, like I said, like Sol's pumping, so I'm looking at it like, at the same time, if we just throw this banger out there and Sol goes to $26,
nobody's going to care, dog.
Flat.
Nobody's going to care.
We're hyper conscious of that. And that's the thing. It's like, I got to take some punches on the chin. I knew it was going to come. I knew people would be like, yeah, they've been working on it for a year. They're not doing anything. Nothing's coming. And it's like, that's totally fine to believe that. I know it's not true. And now it's like, I'm more excited to just show you that it's not true. But also we've been hyper focused on the marketing plan to like keep it close to the chest for that exact reason. Like, now it's easier to do like different style of marketing tactics, see what people relate to, see what they don't like, and kind of like roll it out that way.
I'm once again, I always feel for like, it feels like the best project founders get beat up the most out there. And it just sucks because like Bison had to go through it with the heist right before it minted. It was the FUD. I knew you were going to go through it as well. But it's just like those individuals who are anonymous in rug projects, they never have to deal with any backlash because they're just gone. So I hate to see your integrity and things get questioned like that when I know you're working on something. You don't need to tell me what you need to do. You've been around the space since the beginning. So why would you rug now? That makes no sense.
It's also just like, a lot of people say we haven't done anything for like the year leading into it. And it's also like, dude, I mean, I always try to make people realize like this free NFT platform is a lot bigger than people look at it. And that's the thing that like, I always try to help people realize is like, when I look at this, it helps people see like, we have 100,000 weekly active collectors, over 500,000 free NFTs on the platform. And a lot of those people have never collected an NFT before. So like, that's where it's most interesting to me, especially in a bear market. Like, we're doing more weekly collectors than a Blur, more weekly collectors than most marketplaces. And to me, that's where I'm like, if you guys can start to understand that vision, that's what a lot of this buildup has been. And of course, the focus is like, get those individuals into the ecosystem and then realize now for the premier level access, you need a dog. You know, like, that's the clear path forward.
So I definitely have some thoughts on this. There is a spectrum and you don't want to be in the middle of it, especially in this market. So what do I mean by that? I think you either have to start out in a very boutique, very niche community start 101s, or you have the reputation to start a project and just deal with all the punches and blows, we're all going to get it. It's a bear market, and you really have to like realize a lot of people are just down bad and they just want to find some sort of scapegoat. You know,
gotta be fucking crazy to launch in a bear, dude. Like,
it's
that was
not
the
fun.
thing. Like, it's like, in anything too, like I had to sit down with Pio and Nick, and I was like, so guys, theoretically, this is, it looks good to sell out, but after that, we have no control over it. We can't stare at the floor. We have a game plan. We have an attack plan. We have minimum right now, I'd say 8 to 9 months of consistent deliverables that once it starts, it's going to make a lot more sense. And we just got to run with it and let the system work versus overthink this, because we've been doing it. So why not continue to focus on it? I mean, you saw it too. Like, that exploit was terrible, but like that gave me the best entry I could have ever had in my entire life.
I know you brought the Pico bottom of Nana's exploit, right?
I was spam clicking the shit out of that thing, dude. Like, going crazy on the red wicks, because I was like, dude, this team already funded it. They have a massive war chest. They're going to make this right by either buying back Nana or figuring out additional sinks to recoup the cost. Like, there's ways around this where, like, they have the heist. They have remnants. They know how this goes. Why would I not buy the dip? And maybe it keeps dipping until confidence is restored, but I know I can just sit on it. You know, like, in worst case, I just dump it into a recruitment and get more and compound over and over.
That was what a lot of people did. I think if you took a step back,
I haven't hit shit on recruitments.
Dog,
I've lost like 100,000 Nana. I'm pissed about it.
Oh,
easy.
Boo.
I've been entering everyone, and everyone I'm telling myself I'm not going to enter it. Then what I do? I drop 20K Nana and get 0.
Oh my God. I don't want to hear you guys' 20K, 100K. I dropped 200K the last round and literally got nothing. Jack shit. So whatever. It's fine. I'm glad I'm the one who gets rugged out of all of us. But yeah, so I guess talking about the spectrum again, you either have the reputation and you can mint it out, and just like you did, easy, right? Like, we have a mental illness for launching in this market, right? If not, you can go the NFL Rivals route. And while I have you on, I want to talk about Rivals because you got me into it. It was 34 mil that they just raised, right? That shit was wild. And I know you have to go here, but they did it so well. It's launched on Polkadot, dude. Like, of all chains, it's on. Yeah, it's on Polkadot, dude. So it's literally dot. They raised 34 mil just to make a marketplace for their assets. They have over 100 million or a million downloads now. I think it's well over 2 mil now. But that game was wild. Those are two sides of the spectrum, and it's not always. We're so confined to this like 10K. You got to launch a 10K, and that's how you onboard more users, or go the monkey route. And now we're doing 15K, and it's like, that's not always the right way to acquire users. So I think that platform that you're developing with free NFTs, money, right?
Oh, dude, just wait too. Like, I love that you brought up Rivals, because like, I was like trying to see how many people are in here. There's like, so you know, the pack opening thing is something I'm really interested in too, and I think there's a really interesting dynamic to that. And you've been seeing the teasers we've put out. I'm a huge fan of gamification and game theory, so I think that there's some really cool stuff that we have. That's actually why I had to jump here in a minute, is some testing that we got to go through. But I'm really, really excited for like stuff like that, because like you can do, quote, the gambling without making people lose a ton of money and still have that dopamine hit. Like, dude, I'm a huge fan of Marvel Snap, if you've looked at that.
Hey, same here, dog.
Yeah. And the card openings are electric. Like, when you click that timeline and you're going through opening stuff and you hit a banger, you're like, your heart starts racing. You're like, hell yeah. And like, same with Rivals, is like FIFA Ultimate Team is really like the core of all this, and where I came from, spending thousands of dollars on characters I would lose every single year. You would just lose them. So now there's ways to gamify this and make it a lot more fun for consumers and have them feel rewarded, and even leverage other ecosystems to reward people. Like, I think there's ways to do it without dilution and draw some like game theory out of it that I think we got some cool things going. But I love that you brought up Rivals. Die-hard fan of it. Like, dude, I play it every night. Literally, it's like before I pass out, I play it for like an hour and just rip Rivals. It's the most addicting thing in the world.
Absolutely, it is. And I know you got to jump, so go ahead and do your thing.
Thanks for coming on. Easy.
Of course, I'll pull back up Tuesday next week. You guys free?
Yep.
Every Tuesday, Thursday at 2 p.m. EST, dog. Come through.
So I'll tag in Joe here. I'm out. We'll talk soon, boys.
You're a legend, bro.
Always a pleasure. Dude, it was, man, what an unexpected surprise.
I know, right?
Joe coming in at the perfect time. Literally easy.
Yo, we're out here.
Exactly. Holding it down till Joe got here.
Let's go. That's so nice to see. I popped on. I was like, oh, Easy's here. That's awesome. What a nice little slide through.
Yeah, we were just chatting about the market. I mean, it's nice. It completely derailed what my talking points were for today, but I'm about it. I
It
mean,
was
that's
fun. We went off
beauty
on a tangent.
the beauty of this week is that we don't have any guests on Tuesday or Thursday, so we'll be talking about the same stuff, and if we have to, we can push stuff over. But
nice.
First off, Joe, nice to have you on.
Thank you, guys.
You have the OMB burn scene as your PFP.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, man. I think we're getting closer. ZK likes to write in hieroglyphics, but if you look at you gotta look at what he's been posting, and the timetable has kind of been cut in half. So I believe we're going to be seeing something here shortly that's going to be dealing with more. I think people are more or less looking for some type of I'm more or less looking for the infrastructure that he's helping probably get built within a massive way to get whales onboarded through ledger services, OpenSea, things like that, right? Like really next level onboarding service. So that's kind of what I'm looking for right now. I know there's a lot of speculation within the project itself, but yeah. So I'm excited about that. And then other than that, man, just been chilling. Web 2's been kicking up, so I'm kind of just a little bit out of the loop. So I'm excited to hear you guys talk about the market a little bit today.
Yeah, I mean, the market's market.
The only thing you should have right now is the heist. Everything else, floor it all and get out of there, dog.
So to be honest, right, I've sold out NFTs a couple of days ago, but so you guys seeing like the same price action? I haven't looked at Tensor or anything today or really yesterday at all. Are we stagnant at less, like building bottoms here, or are we actually looking like we have some space?
Yeah, we are. If you want just mine out, first off, if you want to look at a chart, oh my goodness, you want to see a chart of what the heist is looking like right now.
Oh no way! What's the heist at? I have no idea what the heist. I haven't even checked. I'm on a 5-day heist right now.
Hey, let's go.
No way, dude.
Yeah, this chart is
This is insane. So this is what's happening. You know what's crazy? We always talk about those liquid magnets, right? The liquidity magnets, and in a dull market, or in a market that's rolling over, or in a market that's pumping and losing value because of the underlying asset, there's always that one magnet, and the heist seems to be it. What's Nana at?
Nana is 1 minute. I'll switch my screen real quick. And we'll go over. I need to just make it the window, but whatever. It's at. Somebody just sold off a good little bit, but I mean, also looks insanely good.
Wow, that's the pocket we want. That little accumulation zone, I'm fine with.
That's what I'm saying. It just retested exactly where I wanted it to. Maybe dip down to 665 or so, but look, we haven't even announced. We've shared it with everybody. You're gonna need a DAO pool, and Nana is going to be used in the DAO pool if you want some sort of orangutan allocation for your DAO, your project, whatever. We thought this was the fairest way. We also thought it was the best way to get new users in. Like, if you invest in it, then it makes a lot of sense, right? And it's a community thing. You have to allocate some sort of the treasury to it. And we've seen it work well with Dust. We've also seen it's going to work with Migos too. And I'm actually much more bullish on Migos than I thought I was, but I'm not going to chase whitelist for it. I might apply for it, see if I get it. If I get it, great, and then I'll just wait for what the market reacts to, and at least I have some exposure at mint price.
There's a whitelist application process for Migos.
Yeah.
Can you share that with me? Because I didn't even know.
Yeah, absolutely. So Migos is definitely one that. There's always that project that comes through that's kind of a good barometer for me as far as where the market is, right? Like, we saw Bodaga's mint, and then, the market reacted poorly. Now, again, Easy hit the nail on the head to me. He's like, why would I reveal my hand in a market that is unfavorable, which I could not agree more with, because I know what it is to blow catalysts in an environment that won't respond well to it. So I was looking at it, I was like, you know what? Honestly, that's a really good point. We did the same thing where it's like
we did the same thing with Cyber Samurai.
Yeah,
it's like it happens.
Well, you guys are smart in the macro though, right? We're seeing a lot of setups from king traders that are looking at a big expansion on Sol, right? Everyone's starting to pick up on that. You're seeing that from people that don't even talk about NFTs, right? Just like strict token. So I get it. It's like, as a trader, everyone's liquefying because they just want to what if Sol does go to 40? Do you want to be sitting on depreciating assets? Do you want to have the liquidity? All right, I'm cashing out 300 for a new couch or a down payment on a car. I think that's the reality of the statement is if that happens, whales will hold maybe that have accumulated low enough. But other than that, I don't see floor prices holding up. And that's the scary thing until we hit that top and the inverse changes, right? Everyone's happy around $80 to $120. We range, people come back into NFTs. And I heard you guys talking about it. Easy hit it on the head. So, I mean, it's just smart. Is Bison shows yourself, Dorian, you guys show. I mean, every project you guys are with have a great community and are thriving for a reason, because you guys are smart, right? The people that are around tossing back ideas are smart. You guys are in this market every day. So it just goes to show.
I think it's a beautiful transition into Gen 3s, because this is really my main talking point for the day. Is I'm a little concerned. Not really for Monkey DAO. Like, I know they're gonna do their thing. People are gonna find their prices. They're gonna go into, you know, what they view as an acceptable price point, whether it's Gen 2 or Gen 3, right? It's more so the Solana ecosystem in general, because if we look over, I think Tensor had the better data for this. Sorry, Max, but I think I have too many Soul Sniper charts I have pulled up that I don't want to exit out of. So if I go over to Tensor real quick and I look at Gen 3, there's 5,785 Gen 3 monkeys out of 15,000 barrels.
Yeah.
Right. And I would say there's 2,000 less barrels. So there's about 13,000, right?
Yeah.
We're looking at half of those broken into, not even. And 27.5% are listed right now. That's a little worrying for me on the Gen 3 side of things. And this is where I'm on the side with Easy, where it's like, this was their big, like, they minted out. And do they care? Probably not. They're making a bunch of royalties.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing, dog. It's like the whole goal was to mint out because they needed to pay back loans and to keep the IP.
They're at like 4 mil now.
Yeah,
total, right? So they paid and they're
something to worry about. Yeah, they're good.
And I think that's kind of like, one, I'm more worried for Sol in the short term, right? Like the NFT side of things, because that just shows like either people are just like, well, I don't want to break this open because it's an EV negative play, which it is. I'm like, I would not break open a barrel right now.
Don't break open a barrel if you got it.
Yeah, I mean, if you have two and you want just something, you want to feel something. Well, one, I would say,
but I don't think they have the youth allured. And this is for you, Bison, because you said this, and this I'm gonna give the credit to you. And you said it from the beginning, and I just don't think people are going for the nouns down, right? They're not going for that like tradability of it, like we saw with youth. So like, how long does someone hold said barrel for that to occur any type of real delta on the floor price? If no one's really going for unless does the team care enough to put incentives, or do they care enough to go, you know what, it'll weed itself out and we'll find our investors where they need to be?
So Nam and the rest of the exec team do have things coming. Nam put out an announcement either yesterday or a couple days ago talking about like different channel setups, which they get. And there's a lot of big plans for Monkey DAO. So he's not oblivious to the floor price. So he just haven't, launched anything yet.
Yep. And we just lost Joe.
Hopefully. There we
go. No, the one thing I'll say about them is, one, I did see, I'm in a bunch of group chats, and Nam did say in one of them that he's like, look, we're going to incentivize people holding multiple, which I think is, you just need to do in this environment. You have to. I mean, we don't have enough buyers to support a 10K collection, really even like a 7.5K collection, maybe a 5K collection, maybe. And that's if everybody's in on the trade, which you need central pillars of liquidity. It's what we figured out with Heist. And what a lot of people are figuring out with Soul Casinos, another one. I think we are going into this boredom phase where you need to have some sort of return or fun or both, like in some way, shape, or form. And if you can't do that right now, just be prepared to be the punching bag for a lot of people that are wondering, why isn't floor going up? And they're just oblivious to the fact that the macro sucks right now. Like the macro for Soul NFTs as a market, it's not favorable, like in any way, shape, or form. Soul is pumping. There's not enough buyers in NFTs. We have 4,500 or so over the past 24 hours. We have so many 10K collections, like more than I can count on, like 69 hands, like it just doesn't work right now. So I don't know. You just got to pick and choose. And I think we're going to go into a liquidity crunch. We already are seeing it where liquidity is funneling into the plays that are working right now. We see it a lot with these traders where they are averaging into their winners, which I think will pan out for the most part. If you don't want to go into liquid staking, or just hold liquid Soul in general, the people are averaging into their winners. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially in the short term. I would say over the next month or so. Now, I think eventually Soul hopefully finds my hope is that Sol find its footing above this like massive resistance we have had the longest time trying to fight, where it's like $27, right? If we can go break above that and stay above that, then we're like, hallelujah, thank the Lord, we did it, guys. You know, and I would say like there's a life back in the Sol market. I think it's coming. But I think that's where we find our next plateau, and that's where, you know, more likely probably in the 29 to 30 range. But like if we find a plateau, that's when things can start digesting, right? Like we go into a digestion period where Sol's not really ripping anymore. People are looking for gains elsewhere. Well, if they have the liquid Sol, they either cash out, totally fine, or they go into NFTs, which is a leverage bet on the stability of Sol. So I think that's the hope, is that over the next, I would say, couple of weeks, 3 weeks or so, we find that footing. We rip on up to 27 to 30, whatever that range looks like, whatever that footing looks like. And after that, that's when I think NFTs start ripping again. I think that's really the play. You know, that's how we lined it up with Heist. Season 2, we kind of mapped this out and said, like, hey, we're going to take everything in USDC. So one, we don't have to liquidate Sol or anything like that. And if people have USDC on hand, great. We know the exact amount we're going to get. We're not going to make any pre-sale whitelist discrepancies or anything like that. We know what we're going to raise. And in the meantime, you know, we do have, this is going to be alpha for RareFUD. I'll just go ahead and say it. I think we're going to do some currency for the pre-sale buyers. So if you got pre-sale, you might get a little bit of the token for season 2.
Hey,
not gonna make a huge difference, right? Like I think it'll get a nice little, you'll be like, oh shit, I get to do something right off the rip, but it's not going to be like game breaking or anything. So
I do have a couple questions about Heist. I mean, we can roll back into Heist because I love talking about Heist. Like, geez, man, I just couldn't see any more obvious play in the entire market since it launched, man. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. It's like, I'm not a fortune teller or a rocket scientist or anything, but when you have an obvious play, please go in on the most obvious thing on the market. I'm not saying this because it was 20 Sol now. We've been talking about Heist since after the exploit when it dropped down to high 6-7 Sol. Like, come on. Anyway, questions about the Heist. With the Nana going for the DAO pools, is that Nana going to be burnt?
Yeah, absolutely. That we really what we're trying to do with Nana is, one, I tweeted about it today, is my first step in this whole process, and something we talked about as a team, is make people regret instantly selling because they think nobody's going to play the game. There are tons of people playing the game. They instantly regret it. You know, whether you sold, even if you sold at 19 now, you're like, man, that I could have rode that all the way through. I could have been accumulating Nana, and now it's back at 22, 23, and oh shit. I messed up, you know, and that was our goal. Like, even if you sold at the local top or the Pico top back over the past couple of months, now you're regretting it. And you probably placed it into another Sol bet that didn't pan out. And I'm sorry about that. But second step of this whole mission, make you regret selling Nana. That is my next whole goal. Is one, we're going to have a burning event, you know, where we're going to have the DAO pool. And then two, I think people are underestimating what we can do with it in season 2 and onwards as a premium currency, which is kind of what, you know, like, people don't have the foresight, and I can scream it at them every single time on what we plan on doing with Nana. And I think people are underestimating it. It'll be a premium currency. So yes, you'll have your cosmetics and everything like that. But I think we got some more features for those that are willing to diamond hand some Nana that won't be game breaking, but you'll be like, damn, I wish I had that.
So with the end of season 1, no more Nana will be emitted, correct? But you'll be able to purchase it on like the market. Oh, Jesus, man.
There will only be the circulating supply. And I think once it goes to that, we talked about, you know, there may be a certain amount we want to burn to get to a certain level of Nana. But the rest of it, I think we're going to make in more of a circular model where it comes into a sink. We then have it in a wallet. Then we can
re-enter it back in the circular.
Yeah, exactly. If we want to.
Makes sense.
And that's, so basically we are now the Federal Reserve, if you want to call it that, pun intended, where we can kind of control the monetary supply for premium currency. And I think that's, to me, what we are aiming to go for, is that we showed we know what we're doing with tokenomics with this game. And now we can go into a circular model where we know all we have to do is distribute the sinks, mainly the sinks, and then the emissions. Emissions for season 2 currency, and then if we need to add more premium currency into the ether of any sort, we can, but it's going to be on an extremely limited basis, and we want this to feel like it's going to be a major supply crunch. So yeah, I mean, we've already burned 53% of total nano supply, and it'll get tighter. Tighter.
Could you? I'm probably not, but I'm gonna ask anyway. Can you tell us like what the next token's name is gonna be?
No.
Okay, I figured I'd ask.
I Chief Keef. That's what I'll say. Anyway, yeah, no, I'll see if anybody reads between the lines there, but no, I'm excited. I mean, it's just nice because, we saw the market need for it. We saw it with Heist, that there was just a need for boredom. Whenever boredom hits, we know we can take infinite amount of market share, because what else are you going to do right now? You're going to pray that somebody releases something. And like Easy said, all the smart founders I know, Easy included, are withholding ammo because why would you release it right now? It's like, would you rather shoot, that's going to sound morbid. Would you rather shoot your ammo at somebody with full Kevlar on, and just like,
or somebody who's just naked?
Yeah. Or yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, it's probably when the market is just like, feeling risky, they're going streaking, doing whatever, and that's when you do it. And they're just feeling very very open with their liquidity. So
real quick, there was somebody in the comments who mentioned like Sol's trouble is Sol NFT holders drop floor price when Sol goes up. And while I do think that, we've been talking about this all show, I do think that's the case. However, I think the Heist is a bit different. We've seen the volatility of Sol, but the floor price of Heist continue to go up even with increasing supply. And that's just because of the entire mechanics behind the game. So while that is a good rule to follow by, you should not apply that rule to every single project out there, because there's that one project that'll buck the trend, and Heist is that project.
Yeah. There's always going to be a project that kind of defies the norms, and I'm happy to be that project. That's kind of what we developed it for. So I don't think we're going to be the last one to do it either. Like, I think there's going to be other projects, maybe not in the gaming sphere, but that just ignore market conditions, and they know they have the attention of the market, whether it's a bull or bear, and being able to identify those. Because when it comes time for bull market, I think the Heist will do really well. Like, I think it'll do as better, good, if not better, than what it is. But is it going to outperform some other, skeptical, alluring, what if sort of project that has high upside, like a Klanos or a Mad Lads or something? Like, what are they going to drop? What, anything like that? I'm not sure. And that's the one thing where I think it's good to have some stability in your portfolio, even in NFTs, where it just feels like degen season, right? So identifying those projects that are going to add some stability to your portfolio is always good.
I'm all about the stability, dog. I think sometimes people chase upside way too much, and the more people want to chase that upside, the more risk they take. While they can probably, if not most of the time, realize that upside just by going slow and steady, dog. I don't need Heist to like print $1 million a month, dude. Like, a little bit of disclosure, I think since I've been tracking my stuff, I've made like 5K off of Nano within the past couple months, dog. And that's just me chilling. Like, nothing else has been going on. Could I miss some short stuff? I'm sure I did. But just sitting here stacking Nano, dog, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be fun. Dude, I'm so excited for season 2, just because, we talk about it a lot that this is an alpha phase, and I hate calling it that, but it is just the easiest way to get across people that you're seeing development in real time, and how we, modify anything small from a quality of life change all the way up to, adding in something like a new location or, tapering recruitment, which we only have 50 recruits for this week, as we can extend it into season 2. But I don't know. It's just nice. We got a whole lot of levers to pull, and I think that helps a lot. Shout out to our dev team. I mean, they're just crushing it at every corner, even after a very turbulent, first month or so. Doing really well. But going back to just the overall market in general. First off, shout out Soul Casino, other one that is just obliterating everything in
dog.
sight. Like
Easy clap.
holy cow, they ran up to like 65 Soul, and I hats off to them. You got to give respect where it's due.
Yeah,
I mean, they were another project that faced
I was skeptical, dog.
Yeah, I mean, like, holy cow. And there's some, crazy conspiracies going around and everything like that. And if you held on to that, you're now holding on to the coziest 5.5x I've ever seen in my life. Like, they got payouts and everything like that.
They refunded the mint price of the Soul to people too, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
dog, you chilling, man.
Bro, I'm like, can I say anything except for shout out?
Yeah,
Soul Casino, like,
good job, guys.
Yeah, I mean, look, credit is where credit's due. So happy to see it for them. I think they did an incredible job. Outside of that, you're pretty upset with Solana NFTs. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, I don't know anything else besides Zero Monkey Business, which is again pumping because why not? I don't know.
I don't know why it's pumping either, man.
OMB, I guess maybe. Is OMB pumping right now? Because
I don't think it is. I think it's still it's at 0.275 for green.
Okay, well then maybe take that as your indicator that OMB is about to pump too, because those projects move hand in hand. So I'm trying to think of other ones. Like right now I'd be buying the dip, because if we do find that plateau, this is a pretty good time to position yourselves. Like if you're already in NFTs, I think it's stupid to sell here. I do. I think you're going to sell at local bottoms for a lot of quality projects. Now, if you're questioning the validity of the project, probably get out of it. Like straight up. I don't think there's any question. Save your soul in many ways. It just doesn't make any sense. But Joe, we haven't heard much from you. What are you looking at right now? Both crypto and NFTs.
Yeah, so I'm looking just in my spot position still. No, I'm not holding anything. I'm not holding any NFTs other than like the Heist, I think, and an OMB. Everything's liquid. I just think there's some real upside, even if we do tap some fair value gaps. Keep a higher low. There's some real exponential gains to be had here for some of these alts, these mid-cap alts that I hold. And I just don't believe that people are going to hold their NFTs because they vote with their wallets. And as you can see, as SOL goes up, what happens? The floor price goes down, right? That's just showing you directly correlated with their just caring about USD value. At the end of the day, no matter how much people preach about compounding SOL, whatever, they're
He lagging for you too?
Yeah, that was Joe. My internet's been smooth since I got out of my new place, dog. So I'm like, is that me? Nah, it can't be.
It's not you. It's not you. It's him. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and take Joe off the stage. There we go. And damn,
man.
That's sad because I love Joe's takes.
Me too, man.
But yeah, well, what NFT boyfriend saying nice rug. That's just Joe. Look, it wouldn't be a show without Joe rugging. I kind of miss it because it's been a
while. I've been the one rugging recently, so
it's nice.
Everything's right in the world.
We're gonna wrap it up here soon. The one thing I want to talk about right now, see if Joe has stable enough connection because I want him to hear this as well and weigh in on it.
Okay.
Is Solana DeFi. Hi, welcome back.
Sorry.
Welcome back, Joe. Yeah. So as far as alpha right now goes, it's not in NFTs. I think you can definitely buy some dips on some projects if you want to DCA in. I'm not interested in catching knives. I'm not buying anything here. The only thing I'm buying actually is more bodogos because I have a mental illness, but that's neither here nor there.
That's different though. That's you're investing into a company with that, right? Like that's how I look at some of these purchases, right? Because it's not like you're buying said NFT to go flip. Like you're investing in the person who easy the Nifty portal. So like I get that, like investor thesis. Why I don't think a lot of early traders understand that. They might hear you say that and go stack up, but just bodogos looking for the flip, like a 20% move. Like it's not worth buying NFTs right now, guys. If you want to go flip it for 2x, like if you're gonna buy it, you're investing for more of a macro time frame here. Because there's no point, because there's no liquidity coming in here to make burger flips right now or hot dog flips at all, right? Yep. Like, so yeah, I just wanted to point that out. That's the truth. It's a good move though for macro hindsight.
Yeah, I think you can definitely DCA into your NFTs. I don't think I'm personally not. The only thing I did really was just put some bids up on Sniper just so I can get some more points and hopefully some more free bodogos. But Other than that, it's just a long-term hold. Like you guys heard Easy, like he ain't going anywhere. He's been around. He's literally stuck around for forever. And I know they got plans. So outside of that, the only thing I'm interested in, Solana DeFi. That's all I want. That's all I want to do. Whether it's liquid staking, which I think there's plenty of validity in doing. Right now, you can get like some insane APY. Well, it's insane to me, right? Like it's like 15%, and it's relatively safe, NFA DYOR, but you can make some nice like leverage plays. Essentially, what you're doing is you're staking your SOL. They give you this MSOL or JSOL back, which is Marinade Sol or Jito Sol, and then you can do some DeFi things with it. So you can start putting into a vault and getting some yield on that as well. Or, you could possibly trade it, with some other pairings and stuff like that. It's very interesting to explore. I am a complete noob at it. Please do not take my word for advice, but I think this is the perfect market to start learning about liquid staking, more so than even staking. And make sure you're delegating it to the right validator. I delegate it to Lotus Validator. So, I love Bungills, and I think it helps out their project. So good for them. But other than that, I'm more interested in DeFi. There's a couple plays out here that I just want to call out. One, Burn is ripping right now. So Burn is Bonk's like token 2.0 to 2020 standard or 2022 standard or whatever it's called. It's ripping right now. I'm testing out a thesis that if Burn rips, therefore Bonk rips. And right now Burn has done a 20% gain. I'm thinking that Bonk, only a 5% gain, might be a play. I'm not putting any money into it right now, but it is something I am back testing, and we're going to see if that relationship pans out now that it is a more mature asset. Something to keep your eye on. And then the other one I'm really looking at, or a few I'm looking at, is Helium Network. So Helium HNT. If you guys aren't taking a position on HNT, I think this thing could be a cook, dude. I think HNT on Solana just makes so much sense to me. Now that they migrated over here, and this feels primed to rip.
Is that Helium?
Yeah, Helium.
Didn't they have like miners or something back in the day?
Yeah, you can still get them.
You can still box in get your little boxes going.
People were cooking back off of those in the bull run, man.
You couldn't find them. I tried to for the longest, bro.
They took forever to ship if you even did, dude. Like, it didn't make any sense. Now would be a pretty good time if you
if you have multiple family members or multiple homes too, where you have Wi-Fi and you can just start building out your you can really start exponentially.
I'm putting it in my grandma's retirement home,
Smart.
Like shit. I'm throwing it in there.
So you are putting up an HNT miner?
Yeah, look, we might set up a RareFUD one now that they're on Solana. I don't care.
No, that's maybe next show you can talk about like setting up a miner and stuff like that, because I didn't know if it was still valuable to do or not. So if that's the case, I definitely would mind picking up one myself.
Yeah, so I definitely think that's a play. And then, a couple of other ones that if DeFi starts ramping up, Orcus token and Radium's token are probably just like no-brainer. Probably gonna be small percentage gains over the next year or so. I don't know if they outperform Sol necessarily, which is the one concern I do have, but I think they're pretty that's no brainer. If DeFi heals, the two biggest protocols are going to ramp up, and so I think those are pretty much like what I'm looking at in the Solana ecosystem, because I am more bullish on Solana than I ever have been before.
Fire dance are coming, and big money loves nothing more than headlines, right? And liquidity events. And what can that print? Fire Dancer is like all that in one, right? Media, liquidity, all this event. And then to realize that it actually makes sense for big money to come over here. And once they see how cheap it is, how viable it is now, because we've actually expanded the network. So I think what Bison's saying is, man, it's one of those read between the line plays. Like that DeFi has a narrative to it. And that's what money wants.
Which is exactly what I'm looking at. So I think DeFi is a much infinitely better play right now. If you want a more safer upside, still there, but downside and liquidity. Liquidity is the main key ingredient, because if it gets past the threshold, if it gets past your stop loss, you can cut it. You can't really do that at scale with NFTs right now, especially with how little buyers we have and how many collections are coming out. I mean, even after this, we got Migos, we got Heist Season 2, we got Sandbars coming, we got KYDS. I mean, like, all of these are on the horizon. We don't know when they're coming. I know when Heist Season 2 is. It'll be in August. just a heads up for people. I mean, like if you're looking for that information, it is in August. That's as much as I'll say. But Migos, I would imagine, comes out at the same time. We're going to be looking at another liquidity crunch event. The nice thing about Heist is that most of ours will be taken in USDC. So that's what I'm looking at. I think DeFi is a safer play. I think holding on to Liquid Soul is a better play. I think holding into liquid staking is a better play. So, guys, that's what rant I got. Do you guys have anything else you want to exit with before we wrap up this show?
No, wait, am I okay? No, my bad, dude. Got a text. Nah, dog. I think we covered pretty much everything. Right now is from Alpha on my end. I don't know, man. To just sit on the sidelines and keep heisting. And if you're not heisting, I don't know if now's a good time to start. So I hate like saying, oh, now's like, I don't know. It's like now was a good time to start when it was like 7 to that 14 soul range. That was a great time to start. Now, I don't know.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. Like, look, and this is coming from project person. We have had 7 straight weeks of up only on Heist price. Like, I hate to say it because I look, my job is to market for us. I think the safer play would be to wait for season 2. Like, if you have not entered in yet, just go out.
Or buy Nana, right? To be honest, right? It's a leverage bet on Heist, 110%.
Right? Yes. That was going to be my other
play,
thing.
Definitely.
Is to go ahead, buy Nana. Like, buy Nana. If you want exposure to the Heist ecosystem, Nana is a much clearer and obvious play.
Not financial advice, obviously.
Yes, everything on this show. We're just bozos trading JPEGs and now finding internet money in the shape of a Nana. Are you kidding me? Like, if you're taking us seriously, I'm sorry, you shouldn't be. But if I didn't have Heist exposure right now, Nana is the clear and obvious play to me. And I think that is just an easy way to fractionalize some sort of ownership into the Heist ecosystem. NFA DYOR, and like buying chimps can be an advantageous if you have the time horizon and you're wanting to learn how to play the game. And the game's going to look completely different in season 2. So, it's just like that. What you see now in season 1 is going to be just a minor blip on the radar of what we're going to be able to do.
That's so wild, dude.
I know, dude.
Yo, I've held no less than 14 chimps throughout my whole trading experience, which is crazy, dude.
I have 14 now.
Why wouldn't you?
Dude,
it's
just
yelling at people.
And that's what I mean. But the trading aspect of it is like now I have such an entry that I will buy floor chimps if they come to a bid because I'll average into that because entries are 7 sold. So for me already, I've accrued so much Nana gain. So I'd say there's a lot of people like me that will have an incentivized reason to buy anyway that already have a bunch because I've already made my profit and I'm like, okay, well, I understand what's coming. I might as well add a couple to the rankings, right? Like it just, I don't know. It just makes sense on that side too.
Dude, Joe, I completely agree with you, man. It's like Heist has rewarded those individuals who have been bullish from the beginning. Like you, me, Bison, and a bunch like NFT Doctor, Ladder Nerd. Those guys are just freaking eating, dude. Like absolutely eating, and well deserved on them. Yeah,
shout out our whales. I've looked like the exploit was the worst headache of my life, and also the biggest blessing for the long-term validity of the project because it allowed a lot of smart people to accumulate when they were able to ignore the FUD. And I think, and now they're central pillars to propping up and making sure that we work and we know how to appease them. Like we're like, they see the long-term vision of what we're trying to do, and we know we're not being reactive but proactive with it. So I think that's just like it is such a good position to play from because we know we have time with them. We know they see our vision, and we know that the rest of the community is enjoying it too. Like there may come a time, season 2 is going to be a lot of unknowns, right? Like what happens when we roll this out? What happens when orangutans come to the market? What happens with this, everything there? And we might get some FUD for it. We've already, if you think we're going to get any FUD close to what we got in season 1, you are sorely mistaken. But there will be some time that there's just going to be market asymmetry. So, I plan to play that. But other than that, not looking on jumping into any NFT plays right now. I'm more interested in Solana DeFi and more interested in holding Liquid Soul. So I think that about does it for us on this show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of RareFUD Radio. We will be back solo show with just us 3 Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. I'm tired of begging you guys. I don't have to do it. I need to do it at the start of every show. Please hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on podcast, we appreciate you. Please leave a review. We do upload these episodes to Apple and Spotify shortly after the episode. Every single episode from here on out, we got you. So that about does it for us on today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Oh, so just shout out Easy for showing up today and holding down the fort as well. We appreciate you guys. Have a good one.